How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneck Shark here with another new movie review for you. So let's get right into this review and see what's about. So the other day, I had the pleasure of seeing the awesome new Marvel Cinematic Universe film in theaters the other night. And that is the awesome Thor Ragnarok. Now, Thor Ragnarok is an awesome and third addition to the awesome Thor trilogy. Now, Thor has been probably one of the biggest and best, I feel, franchises for the MCU, I feel. And this movie just took it all the way to the top. I mean, I was like, each one has progressively gotten better, and this one, what I feel, is the top of the line of all the Thor films. Now, this one actually kind of has a storyline along with the Hulk involved in it, which I found very interesting, simply for the fact that they really didn't reference Hulk at all, really, in Civil War. So they kind of took what they didn't put in Civil War and kind of put it into the awesome new Thor film. Now, Thor is directed by this awesome gentleman named Taika Waititi. Now, he has actually directed and co-directed quite a few awesome films. He actually is a big fan and a collaborator of Mr. Jermaine Clement, who you might know from Flight of the Condors, and that has just been a ton of films over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. But Taika Waititi has actually directed a few other interesting films. Directed Mr. Jermaine Clement himself in Eagle vs. Shark. Now, this is a New Zealand film that was, first released over in New Zealand and then eventually came over to here, was actually a pretty big success for its time. It's one of those kind of dramedy type of films, I heard. I actually haven't watched it myself, but it looks kind of funny, especially because Jermaine Clement, I think, is just amazing. And I thought, that was an interesting take on some kind of like comedy kind of drama film a little bit. Definitely an interesting film, I've heard, and everyone says that it's really kind of funny. It's really funny in that Taika Waititi did a really good job directing it. Now, he also directed another great film that he actually was a co-director with Jermaine Clement, and that is on the movie, an awesome, almost like mockumentary type of film, What We Do in the Shadows, which was an amazing freaking film. Oh my god, that movie is so stinking hilarious. I absolutely loved it. Thought it was so well done, so well conceived, just super hilarious, and they both directed it so well. Taika did an amazing job with the film, and just like he did with Thor, he made it probably the best Thor I've ever seen. I couldn't believe how well he directed it. He just brought a lot of great flavor to the franchise. He, made it just amazing and very just, interesting in a whole new aspect. The music selection for the film was amazing and awesome, and just really well-rounded. It had a lot of great 80s type music and very futuristic feel. It made me almost feel very similar to a lot of the futuristic 80s films. And I thought he did an amazing job bringing that 80s essence back to our time frame now, and bringing the 80s back to life, showing that, yeah, the 80s were awesome. And that's just it. The whole movie was just so well done. He directed it so amazingly. Everyone worked in the film very wonderful. They all worked very well together, and he did an amazing job with directing the film. So this movie has an awesome star cast. They brought in a few, different, actors and actresses to add to this awesome, trilogy saga. You have your, general, people that have been in the Thor films, but they just did an amazing job with casting this film, just really well casted. So, of course, we have the Mr. God of Thunder himself, Mr. Chris Hemsworth, in the film. Now, this is the first one that he actually sports a shorter hairdo, and I thought it looked a lot better than that fake long hair that they kept having him wear. I can only imagine Chris himself going, "Oh my god, I love that I don't have to wear that long fake hair," I mean, he just, he looked awesome with the shorter hair, I thought. It was really awesome. But we all know Chris Hemsworth for, of course, the other Thor films, but also he has been in a couple other great films, I thought, that he has been in. Particularly one I thought that he was really amazing in, and even though it was a short small part, it still was a super funny little role. And that was in the film Vacation, which is supposed to be a continuation of the National Lampoon's Vacation films. He was just awesome as that character that's supposed to be the older daughter's husband. That's a weatherman over in Texas. He just was super hilarious. I thought he is a awesome comedian. I really think he should do some more comedy work. But he was so awesome in that film. That's just a great film altogether. Super funny, so well directed, and just really well done. Chris Hemsworth did in that film. He just was super funny. Another awesome film that he was in that I really enjoyed, that I don't feel a lot of people, really remember him in, and are like, oh yeah, I forgot he was, in that, and that he, was super funny in it, or was, super awesome in it. Not super funny, but did a really good dramatic role for a change versus, superhero or comedy element. And that's in the movie In the Heart of the Sea, based on the book. This movie was just an amazing film. I was so glad I got to see it in theaters, because the shipwreck scene with the whale and all that stuff was just so amazing on the big screen. But Chris Hemsworth was amazing as the first mate. His character, he just did a really good job of bringing that dramatic element that he really is a well-rounded actor. And the film was just so well directed by Ron Howard, and was a great adaptation of the book, which, I mean, it was really pinpoint to pinpoint, so accurate to the book. I was really impressed. And it was just so well done. It just, and Chris was really amazing in it. I really feel that he should do all kinds of different other roles too. He can not just only be Thor, but he can do dramatic, he can do comedy, he can do thriller type films, horror. He is just an amazing, well-rounded actor, and he did an awesome job in the film. And in Thor Ragnarok, he did an amazing job again as Thor. He just was well-rounded, and he did an amazing job making this the third tryout for the solo Thor films. Brought that character to a full tilt. Because this really is rounding out the Thor storyline, especially now with, what they did with Asgard, and, what happened with, his family, and what happened to Odin, and all that kind of stuff. It kind of fully enclosed itself to kind of give you the full story, and kind of close that chapter on that part of the Thor films franchise. So it was a really well done and acted job by Chris Hemsworth. He just was really amazing. He's always amazing, I feel, and just did an amazing job. We also have in the film another gentleman that has been in all the Thor movies himself, and in one of the Avengers films, and that's Mr. Loki himself, Tom Hiddleston. Now, Tom Hiddleston we recognize, as, of course, Loki from the other Thor films, but also he's been in quite a few other films that are just, been well-done films. One particularly I thought he was really good in was the Guillermo del Toro film, Crimson Peak, which was a really amazing film. Really well done by Guillermo. He knows how to make a really great, horror type of film / kind of serious drama-y, fantasy type of film. And Tom Hiddleston was just amazing in it, playing that character. It was interesting seeing him in a different type of role than Loki, and seeing him kind of a vulnerable character, and just a different type. He just was really good in it. His persona, his acting in it was just really well done, and made the story progressive really well. Another awesome film that he was in was the awesome 2017 film with Samuel L. Jackson and Brie Larson, Kong Skull Island. It was interesting to see him in the more of a particularly hero type of role, where he was the hero from the get-go. He wasn't kind of bad, kind of good, and then kind of, dwindled on both sides. This, he plays the hero in this one. And he was super good in it, and it just was probably the best Kong adaptation I've seen in years. In my review of Kong Skull Island, I mentioned that, saying that I think that's absolutely the best Kong that they've made, since the 1976 version. I haven't had the chance of seeing the 1933 one yet. I am looking forward to watching it eventually, but I do know that the Jeff Bridges one from 76 was decent, but this one even tops that one. It was just a really interesting rendition of Kong himself and bring him to a whole new and different light. I love that the fact, in it, Tom Hiddleston's character is kind of like this adventurer, ex-military type of guy, and they gave it a whole new flavor than the previous, films have been, where they bring Kong back to New York. And this one, they don't do that. So I was really impressed that they changed the story and gave it a different new light. Really amazing film. Tom Hiddleston was amazing in it. So was John Goodman. Everyone involved in that film was just really awesome. And Tom really brought his A game to that film and was really awesome in it. But in Thor Ragnarok, Tom Hiddleston playing Loki again was amazing. He was up to his old games. He brought more vulnerability to the character. He really just like with Chris Hemsworth, he really brought it full tilt of who Loki is, and it was just an amazing role. And once again, Tom Hiddleston was amazing in it. I loved him in it. He was just awesome. Love that character. We also have in the film another awesome, amazing actor. And that's Mr. Bruce Banner himself, Mark Ruffalo. Now, Mark Ruffalo, of course, we all know from the other Avenger films as Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. And this one, he reprises that role again. Now, but other than that, though, Mark Ruffalo's been in a ton of movies over the last 2 decades. And some of them have just been amazing, and some of them have just been, okay. But, I mean, he's been in so many great movies, and it's hard to pinpoint a couple that I really feel people will remember or really liked. But a couple of those films, I feel that I really enjoyed that he was in, were such films as the awesome 2013 film, Now You See Me, which starred the awesome Woody Harrelson and Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine and Isla Fisher and Jesse Eisenberg. I mean, it had a huge, awesome cast. And Mark Ruffalo was amazing in it. I just really enjoyed his character. You had really no idea where he was coming from pretty much majority of the film. But at the same time, you felt kind of his vulnerability in the film, and you kind of you saw a little bit of his story, but you weren't 100% sure which side he was on. And it was just a really amazing and well done film that he did with that. He just did an awesome performance in the film. It was a very fantastic and just really well-rounded film. Another film that Mr. Ruffalo was in that I really enjoyed and I thought he was really amazing in is Shutter Island, which was an amazing Leonardo DiCaprio film and done by Martin Scorsese. It was just a really amazing thriller kind of horror type of film, and Ruffalo was amazing in it. I really enjoyed him in it. He played that character so well, and it was a really good serious role, and at the same time though it was interesting to see what he decided to act it out how he really made it just super realistic. He did an amazing job of that film, and the whole movie was just amazing and such a well done conceived film. And just like with Inception, it was just one of those films that you're what's actually going on, what's reality, what's not reality. It was just so amazing and just an awesome type of film, very fantastic and very ingenious. I feel it definitely was. It was just a really well-rounded film, probably one of Ruffalo's, I feel, one of his best roles that he has done. Just a really amazing film. But as Bruce Banner again, and as the Hulk in the film, he was amazing again. It was awesome to see the Hulk in full form for quite a bit of the film and actually talking, and so that was really awesome to see that. And just Ruffalo always does such a good job as Bruce Banner, and he's so, convincible, and you totally feel that, convincing that he himself is Bruce Banner. He does an amazing job, and it was just a really well done addition to the Thor Ragnarok film. He just was really awesome. It was fun to see the Hulk a little bit longer than he has been in previous films, and since he hasn't gotten his another standalone film yet, it was nice to see him it being his kind of standalone film again. Really awesome. Really well done. We also have in the film a newcomer that hasn't been in any of the other previous Thor films, but was a prime character of the Thor legacy and definitely the Thor storyline, and that is as Valkyrie, Miss Tessa Thompson. Now, Tessa Thompson has been actually in a few different movies over the years, and has also been on the Westworld TV show that is currently in production on HBO, which is based on the film Westworld. But she brought a lot of great, interesting flavor to the film. She was definitely a great addition to the film and brought a lot of new and interesting looks to the franchise. Definitely, brought another girl element to the film and really, did justice. She wasn't that bad in the film. A couple of the other things that she's actually been in, though, are a couple movies that one I haven't seen, the other one I have. But the first one that I haven't seen actually was this movie by Tyler Perry called For the Color Girls. Now, I heard the film was really like a very sad, dramatic film, and I just haven't gotten around to seeing it, but I heard that she was actually in it, and that it was a very, like I said, sad film, but she did an amazing job in the film, they said. That she was really well-rounded in it, and that she brought a lot of great and interesting characterization to that character. But I heard that she did an amazing job in the film, and that she was a great addition to the film, with all those other amazing actresses that were in the film. She also was in another awesome film that I totally didn't realize that she was in, but was just an excellent and awesome film. And that film is the film Creed, starring the awesome Michael B. Jordan and the awesome Sylvester Stallone. Now, I totally forgot that she was like the main female interest of the Creed character. And I remember watching Creed's, few months back when I first saw it finally, and remember thinking that girl is a very interesting actress. She isn't too bad, but at the same time she isn't anything great, but at the same time I thought she was decent in the film. And I remember just thinking, I'm like, thinking, I wonder if that girl's ever going to be in anything else, because I had never seen her before. And then, here Thor Ragnarok comes around and she's in that, but I totally forgot that that's who she was from the movie Creed. And I'm like, wow, she actually did a lot better job in this film than the previous film. But she was, like I said, interesting and awesome and amazing and, just fantastic addition to the Thor universe. And it was just a really awesome character of Valkyrie and a decent interpretation of Valkyrie as well. And I thought there was a few good, funny parts where she was in that just were super funny, and she did a good job of kind of being kind of that deadpan kind of humor, and she just was a great addition to the film, and I really enjoyed her in the film. We also have in the film an awesome and interesting actress, and that is Miss Cate Blanchett. Now, Cate Blanchett has been in a ton of films over the years, and she's played all kinds of different roles, from, grieving widows to, superheroes to action stars to, very dramatic roles or even comedy type of roles, and she's just an amazing actress. And in this film, she plays the great and awesome Hela. Now, we have seen, Cate Blanchett, like I said, in a ton of movies, but a couple that come to mind that I feel are some of her best roles are particularly the one of Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth that she played in Elizabeth, the Golden Age, which was an amazing film. I haven't seen the first film, but Golden Age was an amazing film. Really well done. Very interesting story about Queen Elizabeth, and just it was super awesome. And that's Queen Elizabeth the First. And it was just an amazing, all around amazing historical and accurate movie. Another film that I thought she was amazing in and really good was the awesome Indiana Jones film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. Now, that also starred the awesome Harrison Ford and Shia LaBeouf at the time and Karen Allen. And she just was really good as the main bad guy in the film. And she was just really interesting in that kind of Russian accent. I thought she did a decent job of a Russian accent versus some other accents I've seen her try to do. Definitely very believable, and definitely she was very good as a villain. She really is good as a sinister or kind of evil type of people. She really does those characters so well. And in Indiana Jones, she just was, like I said, so awesome and amazing and just really well rounded in the film. And I thought she made the movie really enjoyable. And probably I don't know why it did so bad, critic wise, but I thought Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls was an amazing film. I thought it was well rounded for being absent for almost 20 years since the last film, and it was just a really well done film, really amazing. But Kate Blanchett was awesome as hell. I thought she was amazing looking in the film. Like, she was like super, like, amazing, and like just people were like looking at her going, wow, she looks kind of hot in the film, you know what I mean? And it was like, I was like kind of sitting there going, really, she looks so amazing this film. I'm like, what did they do different that made her look so different than she has in other films? And I was just like, blown away by her look, because that black suit and the green colors coming off it was just like an awesome combination. Just, she looked really awesome in the film, and she did a great job of playing the character. Once again, another sinister type of role that she just did so well and exceeded at. Just really well done, and made the whole movie really amazing and more enjoyable. And to round out the awesome cast, we have the awesome and amazing Mr. Jurassic Park himself, Jeff Goldblum, in the film. Now, Jeff Goldblum has been around for the last 40 years making movies, from Thank God That's Friday to the first two Jurassic Park films, and to the remake of The Fly, to Transylvania 65000. I mean, so many awesome films. And the talk about Transylvania 65000, that's one of the ones I feel that is one of his best films and just super funny. And I just absolutely love that film that people might recognize him from. Transylvania 65000 is just a really amazing and awesome comedy, kind of horror kind of film about Dracula and Loch Ness Monster and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really super funny movie. It had an all-star cast, and Jeff Goldblum was just awesome, and I absolutely loved his character in the film. He was classic Jeff Goldblum, and he brought it and made it such an amazing film, and just super funny, and I really enjoyed him in it. Another film that I really enjoyed Jeff Goldblum in, that I don't think he gets enough credit for how funny of a role it was, is in the awesome 2001 film Cats and Dogs. Now, Cats and Dogs, of course, is like a kind of a kid's movie, but at the same time, it can be enjoyed by adults too, because it was super funny. I mean, you had great, voice casting in the film, with Sean Hayes as the, main cat villain, and then Jeff Goldblum in it, and just playing an interesting and funny role as the father of the boy that has the main dog in the film, that's voiced by Tobey Maguire. And you're just like, he's so stinking funny in the film, and I just thought it was one of his best films. I mean, he just did an amazing job of that character, and it was like I said, classic Jeff Goldblum again. And everything that Jeff Goldblum in, I absolutely love him in. I love everything he does, because Jeff Goldblum is just an awesome person and character, and just a great actor. And his persona and his whenever he's in a movie, those Jeff Goldblum isms just come out no matter what, and you're just laughing because they're so stinking funny. And he was a great addition to the film. I loved him as the Grandmaster in this film. Some of his lines were super hilarious, opposite that main, chick that's supposed to be, his, I don't know, second command or whatever. And he just was so super funny, and I absolutely enjoyed him in it. Every scene he was in, it was just so funny. And, he'd be talking and doing his Jeff Goldblum thing, and he'd be like, why would I want the death stick? I don't want the death stick. I don't. Just because I pointed that way doesn't mean I wanted it. It was so stinking funny, and he was a great addition to the film, and I'm absolutely, so happy that they put him in the film, because he just made the movie even better than it was. So now, if you're not familiar with what Thor Ragnarok is about, basically what this one is Thor has come back to Asgard and seen that his father is missing, and that Loki has been pretending to be his father, and he ends up finding out that he has a long-lost sister that is coming to take over the throne and to destroy Asgard, and that it has to do with the destruction or the coming of Ragnarok, and that he's basically got to save Asgard from Hela, and from this whole Ragnarok thing going on, and basically what all entails in him trying to stop that, and basically the trials and tribulations he goes through. It's a really amazing story, really well done film. I mean, this movie is amazing, and honestly, the best Thor movie yet. Amazing, giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this one, people. This one is an amazing film. Must go see it. You have to see it. It's such an amazing and a great addition to the MCU. Taiki Waititi did an amazing job with the film. Just, made it so well. And just everything in it was so good. Just so much great comedy elements. Lots of great, interesting, parts and just funny elements and great action and just great CGI work. Just an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out, people. Worth a watch. Definitely on the big screen. Don't wait till, it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, or 4K. It's meant to be seen on the huge-ass screen. It is so freaking good. And the music, too, is so superb. Absolutely amazing. I love every part of the music in that film, and definitely going to be getting the soundtrack for that. Can't wait for this to come out on Blu-ray 4K. Hope they come out with some really awesome looking covers and stuff like that, because this movie is just amazing. Love it to death. Definitely a must-see, people. Definitely adding this to my collection. Great addition to the MCU, like I said. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, people, so you don't miss one of these awesome reviews or any type of video I make. As always, keep your eyes out for any old or newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, check out those links down below, people, especially the Horror Pack. Horror Pack is an awesome subscription service of awesome either 4 DVDs or 4 awesome Blu-rays of horror goodness. Now, these also come, every box comes with an awesome limited edition that you can only get through Horror Pack. So you can't get this anywhere else, only through Horror Pack. And this is such a great deal, too. Great, amazing price. And just, it's awesome. If you especially love horror films and you love just random, horror films that maybe you haven't even seen, it's a great, awesome box to go with. It's just an amazing service, and definitely you should check it out. So if you're interested, let me know down below, people, and I'll hook you up with a discount for your first month. So what are you waiting for? Check it out, people. It's awesome. As always, catch you next one.